I was in fifth grade during recess, and every recess we would play baseball. Me and my classmates were obsessed with the game of baseball. We would run out at recess, divide up into teams, and go right to playing. I was a good hitter, and in general, I was a good athlete, so I always looked forward to recess because this was my chance to do something I could do well. I was batting fourth, which is called the cleanup spot. That's if you're a strong hitter, your team will put you fourth because if a few people get on bases, you can drive them home with your good hitting. I was standing there waiting to go on, all excited about getting to bat cleanup, and there were two people on base. The third hitter, my friend Jeffrey, was hitting in front of me, and I was standing there watching the field and watching my fellow teammates who were already on base and watching Jeffrey, who was at bat, because of course I wanted our team to win. So the pitcher threw a couple of balls and strikes, and the fourth pitch would have been a strike, but Jeffrey hit the ball and he connected with the ball beautifully. And I watched that ball go off his bat and start sailing through the air, feeling all excited that at least Jeffrey was going to get on base, maybe even drive a few runs home, which meant I was going to be up next and I was going to get to contribute in my way by also hopefully getting a hit. So I'm watching that ball sail out into the outfield, feeling all uplifted and excited when I hear everyone around me starting to scream and shout, their voices suddenly shouting, raising in the air. And I'm thinking, everybody is just as excited as me. Well, in the last moment, I turned a little bit to look at all the people who were cheering, and all I saw was the fat end of a baseball bat heading for the middle of my face. Everyone was shouting because Jeffrey, in the excitement of his hit, had let his bat go and started running for first base, but instead of laying it down the way you're supposed to after you get a hit, he flung it into the air. It was whooshing in circles around toward me. People were trying to warn me, but too late. I turned just in time to have that bat connect right with my cheek. I don't know if you can see my scar here. You can probably. There it is. 8 stitches. And I wound up going to the emergency room. I remember this vividly because the emergency room was full. They couldn't take me. They had to send me home with this big ice pack and bandages all around my head. I had to wait for 5 hours at home and then go back to the emergency room and get my stitches. So here's the thing. It's not always the best idea to keep your eye on the ball, which is what I was doing. I was watching that ball. But there is a reason that someone like Wayne Gretzky, who was one of the greatest, considered the greatest hockey player to have ever played, with the exception of a young man who's now up and coming on the Edmonton Oilers. I forget his name, but someone is challenging all of Gretzky's amazing records right now. But Gretzky was an incredible scorer, but also he was very, very high in assists. And the reason he could assist the rest of his teammates in scoring was because he always had a sense of the entire rink, everything that was going on the whole playing field of the ice rink. He knew it. He knew what was going on. He had like eyes in the back of his head. He had extra sensory perception of everything that was going on. And in meditation language, this would be called field attention. And field attention, rather than a narrow, focused concentration on one thing, field attention is a diffuse attention that is able to take in, like in periphery, a lot that's going on in our environment and in our field. And Gretzky was so great because he had that field attention, as are many great basketball players and soccer players and football players. They have this quality of field attention, which I did not have in that moment. Keeping my eye on the ball as my friend Jeffrey let go of his bat. And it reminded me, it gave me a lesson early in my life that maintaining field attention is a pretty good idea in general to preserve your own health and safety, but also in just functioning at a level of excellence in life. Field attention is necessary. So this is in response to a prompt that I offered today, which was about tell a story about a sickness or an injury or an accident that you sustained and what you learned from it. So as soon as I wrote down that prompt, I recalled this incident about the baseball bat and I gave it some thought. So that's my attempt to make a memory about getting hurt and having an accident be entertaining, engaging, and also contain a useful message. So now over to you. The prompt offered to you this week is tell a story about a sickness, accident, or injury that you had at some point in your life and what you learned. Try to inspire us, educate us, or entertain us with your story. Thanks. See you next time.